My name is Corinne Notbate. I was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. As a child, I would help my mom prepare meals at home. We would always have family and friends over, so I grew up surrounded by hospitality. My passion for food really came out when I was cooking for a group of my friends. I set the meal on the table, tired but not hungry anymore. However, I got to see the joy and happiness on their faces as they ate the meal I prepared. And that feeling of fulfillment is what solidified my career choice. I've been in the hospitality industry since I was 14, first as a server, and then I moved into the kitchen. I started at a senior's home, worked at a small college in Colorado for 3 months, was a supervisor at Brown's Social House in Chestermere, worked at the Renahans during the Calgary Stampede, and I'm currently a cook at the Living Room in Calgary. I volunteered at many weddings, graduations, and other functions in kitchens as well. And I'm currently working towards my Red Seal on my 3rd period at the moment. I began the professional cooking program at SAIT in the fall of 2017, graduating in 2019. During my first year, I competed to become a part of SAIT's skills cooking team, but didn't make it that year. The following year, I tried again and was able to make it onto the team. The rest of that year, I trained before and after class as well as around work. I competed provincially in the first week of May 2019, receiving gold for Alberta. 2 weeks later, I went to Halifax to compete nationally and took home gold as well. It was in Halifax that I learned about Culinary Youth Team Canada. I got a business card from my coach. He said I should give the number a call, and less than 2 months later, I moved to Charlottetown, PEI, to train with the team. I'm very proud of my team and our success in Germany, despite the many roadblocks we faced during our training together. When we walked into a kitchen, we always, without fail, put everything aside, and as a team, we cooked together, and we always walked out of that kitchen as a team, which is what led us to placing 4th overall and receiving 2 gold medals at the 2020 IKA Olympics. I'd made the decision to participate in Skills 2020 as I wanted to make it to World Skills due to this year's being a qualifying year. I started training as soon as I moved home to Calgary in March, but that was cut short due to COVID. However, I do have the opportunity to compete in 2021 and try to make it to Worlds. On CYTC, I grew individually, but mostly on how to work with a team. I know I could use more experience progressing myself personally in the competitive world, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to do skills again. But this all depends on what happens in the world and what the future holds for me. Being able to represent SAIT as well as Alberta and then finally Canada has given me a feeling of pride and honor, but also of humility. I understand the responsibility I have being on the competitive scene. If I decide to be lazy and not train, I realize that that will affect everyone who's put in the time and effort to train and coach me. I'll disappoint them as well as everyone I represent. Being in between provincials and nationals for skills, I had a moment when I wanted to give up. I was tired and stressed from work, friends, and training. My coach looked at me and said, "If you don't get your shit together," pardon my language, that's what he said, "I'm not wasting my time coming to Halifax to watch you not podium. I don't care what you need to do to get there, but this needs to be your goal and focus right now." Knowing that I'd let him down, as well as Alberta and SAIT, was the motivation I needed to keep going. I realized that I still carry the weight of having represented Canada on my shoulders. This affects how I act and operate at work, home, and on social media. There's a higher standard of cleanliness, speed, efficiency, and diligence I must retain. At work, my chef and sous chef know my competition history and hold me to that standard when it comes to specials, my station, or organizing my prep list. There's no excuse for being less than that, and I've been trained by extremely talented chefs, and it's my responsibility to remember the lessons and coaching information I've learned. On social media, when I post about food, I understand that it should be cooked right, it should be plated or displayed well, and I shouldn't be lazy about it, but take that extra time to show that I know what I'm doing, I'm confident, and that this is what comes out of being part of a Canadian culinary team. Sometimes I share my mistakes, but love sharing how I've improved them next time. If I received help cooking a dish, I understand how important it is to give credit where credit is due and make sure to include my appreciation to those individuals. I wouldn't be where I am today without help. So in conclusion, I'd be honored to represent Canada once again. I know what it involves and I know what is expected of me. I would take that responsibility with humility, confidence, and pride, pushing myself daily to maintain that standard. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to potentially be a part of a Canadian culinary team again. Even if I'm not accepted, I learned a lot through the assignment and I really enjoyed researching and cooking a Canadian dish. Thank you.